I'm here with Bill Rosensweig. He is in the custody service at Brown Brothers Harriman here based in Hong Kong. Bill was running a panel earlier about essentially private banking in Asia. How did your panel go, Bill?
It went very well. It was a long discussion. We had about an hour and 15 minutes or so, which was longer than most of the panels. But we had a good group, representative from someone from Credit Suisse, someone from Deutsche Bank, someone from SG, someone from Citi Private Bank. So really a good group, broad discussion.
Okay, so the discussion was essentially about the Asian scene in private banking. Were you speaking about strategies? What do you think is what are like the three main points that you would take out of this panel?
Yeah, well, I think the most important thing we talked about, obviously this is FundForum, so there are a lot of fund manufacturers thinking about how they can get their products through different distribution channels, and the private banking channel is a very important channel, and I would say a channel that is of growing importance in Asia with the emerging wealth in centers like Hong Kong and Singapore. So there was a lot of discussion about what fund promoters need to do to get on the select list of these private banks, and I guess the flip side of that, the private banks really talking about the proposition they're trying to deliver to their high net worth individual clients.
Okay, and so I guess is there a big trend, Bill, that all these managers from the U.S. and Europe are really trying to get into this market, and they're finding themselves up against gatekeepers, and
yeah.
What do you think are the best practices for these people to penetrate this market?
Yeah, we had a good discussion on that, and I think in general people found that the term gatekeeper not to be the most appealing term in the world. It really implies that the private banks or these fund selection experts are trying to shield their clients from the fund promoters, and that's really not the case. What they're trying to do is select the products that are the most appropriate for their underlying clients. So sometimes it feels like they're putting up a wall to the fund promoters. But it was an interesting discussion because you're right, there are a lot of Western managers who are coming into Asia because of the growth in GDP, the growth in wealth, and the opportunities. Yet at the same time, the private bank fund selection panel really was describing a scenario where they're actually coming up with a smaller universe of available funds for a couple of reasons. One, they want to make it easier for their clients and not to have too many choices. So for a given asset class, having one or two as opposed to a huge number of funds. Also to make it easier for their underlying private bankers. So it's very clear if you want to put a client, give them this exposure, this is the house view. And also from a compliance perspective, with a lot of the suitability rules that are being put in place, it's just more efficient to have a smaller universe of targeted funds. So there's a little bit of a disconnect there between a lot of these fund managers looking to get into the market and to distribute through the private bank channel, but the private banks really looking to scrutinize the fund managers who they're looking to work with to offer products to their clients.
So essentially it is an entirely B2B strategy. Building your own foreign brand here is probably not really going to work, is it?
Well, I think that there are opportunities, and I think a lot of people, when they come into Asia, they talk about what is your strategy for Asia. And I think each market has its own characteristics, and typically a fund promoter may not have a single distribution channel, or it may even vary by market. But to a great extent, leveraging the distribution channels that are in place in Asia is really important, private banks being one of them, but retail banks as well, and depending on the market, securities firms.
Wow, interesting. It's a huge market out here. It's very spread out and very different cultures. So, Bill, this is a fascinating topic. We can go on forever, but you might not want to watch that long. So, Baldwin Burgess and Bill Rosensweig, thank you very much.
Yep, thanks.